All right, absolute value is very similar to finding the opposite of a number or the additive inverse. Okay, so they're very similar. So let's start with the definition of absolute value, and that is the distance a number is from zero. So the distance a number is from zero. Okay, so it's how far. I spelled distance wrong. It's how far a number is from zero. Okay, so let's take the number line to find the absolute value of -8. So we want to start at -8. Okay, and how far away is that number from zero? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 places away from zero. So the absolute value of -8 is equal to 8. Okay. So you can do as many of these as you want on the same number line. You don't have to keep on drawing a new number line for every one. So let's look at A, the absolute value of 7. So let's start at 7. How far away is 7 from 0? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the absolute value of a positive 7 is a positive 7. Okay, but what do you notice that's a little different about letter B, about the second number? So what's a little different? Hopefully you're saying that there's a negative sign outside the absolute value bars. So there's that negative outside of the absolute value bars. So that means that we want the opposite. So this is saying the opposite of the absolute value of 10, -10. So what is the absolute value of -10? So we start at -10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we know that the absolute value of -10 is 10. But we want the opposite of that. So pretty much that negative sign just kind of comes down and it goes right out front there. So now my answer is the opposite of 10, or it's -10 is the answer. So anytime that negative sign is outside of the absolute value bars, it comes down for the ride, and it makes your answer negative. Okay? So I want you to look at example 3. Use these number lines. Compare them. Which one's bigger? Okay? So let's do A together. We want the absolute value of 5 and the absolute value of -3. So let's start with 5. 5's here, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 places away from 0. How far is -3 from 0? It's 1, 2, 3. So which one's bigger? Right? Which one's greater than? It's this one. All right, so pause and do the next two. You don't have to use the number line. It's just there as a good, helpful thing for you. Okay, so hopefully you have that this middle one is equal. It should really be 10 is equal to 10. And the other one should be 4 is less than 9. Okay, because 9 goes further than 4. All right, so same thing. For example, 4, compare them. Be really careful though. Watch the signs. And I'm going to give you a hint. There's a negative on this one outside the absolute value bar. So think back to what we said about that. Okay, so pause, show your work. And I'm just going to write the inequality sign that goes with it. Okay, so 33 should be greater. -18 should be bigger. Because remember, this is -18 because of that sign outside. And 16 should be larger. Okay, so let's look at 5. 5's a little different. Just like before when we had a number line and we had an expression that we were adding up. But this one's the absolute values that we're adding up. So what is the absolute value of -2. The absolute value of -2 is 2. Then what's the absolute value of -6? So that's just 6. And then whatever sign we have in here, in this case it's the plus. If it's a minus, it just gets brought right down. So it gets put in the middle. So what's 2 plus 6? So we're going to show that on our number line. So we have 2 plus 6, and that gives us 8. Okay? So then we know that it is equal to 8. So I want you to take a moment and pause the video and try example 6 down here. Really watch your signs. For this one, I am going to show work, but I'm not going to explain it. So pause, try your best, and when I show the work, see if you get it wrong, how you can piece it back together, okay? All right, so hopefully you got the answer of 31. Okay, so 31 is going to be the answer. So try to follow my work. Whenever you have an expression like this top one, you read it left to right. So you work on it piece by piece. Make sure your work looks like mine, because if you have it all disjointed, it's going to be really hard to go back and find the right place you got it wrong. So really try to keep your work as neat and as organized as mine is. Okay?